those who can live moment to moment and all in between. It's out there just waiting on you and me. So look alive, 'cause while I was waiting for you, paradise is on the other side of the world. We don't know, taking a long way. You and I were born to roll.
Welcome to the Artist Academy at the Refine Network.
Starting out as a new artist is so exciting, and you're just at the beginning of turning those core skills into real-world expertise. Our academy is crafted by a team of salon owners,
seasoned artists and top educators bringing over 40 years of industry experience to the table
We're here to help you flourish in the bustling salon environment
and tackle the unique challenges and opportunities facing today's beauty professionals.
Here's a peek at what you'll gain at the Artist Academy. We'll build on foundational skills to prepare you for the kinds of situations you'll face in a dynamic salon setting.
Boosting your confidence and expertise.
Strong technical foundation principles. You'll hone vital techniques that are essential for delivering consistent, top quality results and a key to winning over and keeping a devoted clientele. Our program is designed to fast track your growth in the beauty industry.
We equip you with top tier skills
that not only meet, but surpass what the industry expects. We'll show you how to capitalize on current market trends and navigate the professional hurdles that today's beauty experts encounter.
laying the groundwork for your successful behind the chair salon business.
At the Artist Academy, you're not just learning, you're excelling. Join us to transform your potential into outstanding success and make every client leave your chair looking and feeling fantastic.
Are you ready to begin this journey? Let's make it happen together. I'm so excited for your experience and as you go through the Artist Academy.
Christopher!
Oh,
Dude.
Don't. Oh, there it is.
Hey, got fireworks, confetti. Dude, we've been waiting for this day for a long, long time. The ticker down at the bottom, the Artist Academy is live. Let's give them a little history of this thing. When did we start? When did we come up with this idea of like, hey, let's put this in a package and use it for help salons?
Yeah. You know, so I love that question, Evan, because right before this, I was going back through everything that we've done to make this here and to make it through today, right? I feel like this would have been like the pre-big event planning. And I know that we had it on our big whiteboard. And I remember it occupied a very little area in the whiteboard. And then after the first planning session, it needed its own whiteboard, right?
Yes.
And these things are massive and they're immense. So it lets you know the amount of not only prep, but the amount of like thought and experience that we put into this. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, in really putting this into practice right now, this is built on not only 40 years, as we said in the video of industry involvement, right? And it's actually more than that as I like do all of it. It's probably actually somewhere in the space of 55 when I think of all the people that came into it.
Yeah.
But this is also collectively 20 years as businesses, small, you know, commission salons working through in refining our process to be able to put this into a package that is organized, consistent, also done with like high amounts of integrity and also intention. Because here's the thing, the industry professional today is so much different than when we started on both of our companies' journeys.
Oh yeah.
So this thing, I mean, you know, when we began it, we were putting together our onboarding, you know, program, but now looking at what it's turned into, it's so much more than that. So I'm fired up today, man, to talk about this.
Yeah, and when we launched this, or when we had this idea, it was going to be training for new stylists. And I guess a 30,000 foot view, that's what it is. But we found out it's more than just that. We found out how it can make the success of the salon company, for the salon owner, for the educator, and for the new stylist. And so this is a huge package that we're excited about launching. Now we've got some guests on here today. So
VIP, very special guest today.
Yes, and I know Jess, she's out teaching today. She's a huge part of the Artist Academy. So we'll have to have her on later just to hear about just the experience of how we all built this thing together, because it was a group effort. So go ahead.
The part of it, and as you know, Jess is out in I think a healing center somewhere today. But again, like we've put in a lot of intentionality to not just make it about, you know, training and onboarding, but really think about, okay, when it comes down to having people grab these technical skills, what are all the ways that we can do that to make sure that we don't miss a single learning type? So yeah, Jess, you're here with us from afar. And again, thank you for the work that you put into this with us.
Yes, because it was a group effort. We hit record on the Artist Academy on Master Sunday, which is a very important day in our country. Master Sunday. There were, I will say, there were some shots that we had to crop out because the Masters, we had a TV, it had the Masters. I say I had a TV that had the Masters, and it was actually in the background. But we shot and recorded everything that you see in the Artist Academy. And I think that's very, very powerful that you have salon owners who created this, and we did all the production. We didn't outsource any of this. And so the cool thing is when you purchase this, when you get on board with this, and you're like, hey, what if we added X, Y, and Z? Guess what? We can do that. And we can do that quick. We have the cameras, we have the editing software, and it's really, really good. Like, we're sticklers for production. If you can't tell from our webinars, like we've been on since 11:15, making sure that everything is going great. So I want to bring up our first guest, the brains behind this operation, because she's shaking her head. Give it up for my beautiful wife, Erin Silver. Thanks for joining us. Oh, we can't, hang on. I had you muted. Can't unmute your guest. Your mic isn't connected. So just rip out your AirPods and just use your MacBook.
There we go.
So while she's getting all that, let me take you off stage. You figure it out. What she did is she's going to talk about what it was like before the Artist Academy, because we had a lot of the same struggles that a lot of salon owners that I talk to now, that we both talk to. And so she was like, there's got to be a system. There's got to be a structure. And so she's going to talk about what it was like before and what it's like now. Erin, I'm going to bring you back on. Can we hear you? We cannot hear you. So we are actually in the same building. You go ahead and just come on up to this camera, and we'll go from, we got you now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Woo!
Okay. Sorry. That was my bad. I was muted.
Well, it was literally, I just said we're sticklers for production, and then you come on muted. So it's all right. I love you. You're great.
It's all good. That's my bad. No, y'all, I am so excited. I am so excited. This has definitely been a group effort, and it's been really exciting to see it all come together, and come to the finish line, and, all the things. So, let's see. So I'm supposed to be talking through challenges, right? Prior to, right?
Yeah. So give us what it looked like before the Artist Academy. What did our training look like, 5 years ago? And I think a lot of salon owners are going to relate to the way that we did things years ago.
So what we essentially did was we had a training program, and it was basically where someone came on board and they essentially just watched the educator, and then also did they would do skill assessments. They would do it would kind of be really dependent on the clientele of the educator. And so it's like if you worked with a really modern edgy stylist, then you learned modern edgy styles. Or if you worked with a balayage specialist that all she did was balayage, that's what you would really learn. And so that was essentially what it was. And our educators have always been great. They've always been really excited and ready to learn and ready to teach and all the things, but they just specialize in different areas of the industry. And so I would say the big thing is that we ended up putting out stylists that were really proficient, some in balayage, but then others weren't. So it just wasn't very consistent across the board. And so we did in-person classes. Those we held, like Jordan will be on later today, but we had classes at 8 a.m. on Fridays. And I look back on that and I'm like, man, like we put ourselves through all kinds of just, I don't know, unnecessary heartache because it was so much work. And we were just exhausted. And so fast forward to January of 2020, I stepped away from behind the chair And one of my projects, I told Evan as we were preparing for that, but I was like, I need projects. So one of them was to revamp our website, which that was exciting. I'm like, anybody can do it, even me. And then also it was to digitize our education. And essentially what I mean by that is find videos on the internet and put them on our staff hub or link them to our staff hub and have like a game plan document. And like, I mean, I think our, which I wish I had one of our Artist Academy, like the original Artist Academy book that we had forever ago. But basically it just outlined like the game plan. There were no note sheets and by game plan, I mean like kind of mapping out what their progress was going to look like over that 6 weeks, or not 6 weeks, 6 months. And then it had like some product theory in it, some color theory that, you know, definitely is more customized to our salons because we're Lonza. But yeah, that was it. And so basically they would watch the video, they would do it on a mannequin, they would get it signed off, and that's how they work their way through the program. But then as we've done it several times, we've seen that like really high level people want to get through it in 4 to 6 months. And so that's kind of we've probably put, Evan, how many stylists have we put through that? Let's see.
You would know better than I do.
I think it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 since we digitized. So it's been pretty good. We've had some stylists that want to do it week by week and finish right at that 6-month mark. We've had some that have taken a little bit longer, and then we've had some that want to finish it in 4 months or as soon as possible. So
yeah, and a lot of our company is structured just like yours, Christopher. It's very structured, but when it came to education and training, it was kind of sporadic. So to have that structure, to have that training, help them know like, okay, this is what 6 months is going to look like. And then once, you know, after that, there's even more structure. And there's a lot of coaching companies out there that focus on the structure of, you know, a commission-based salon, but the training, we found out there was a huge gap. There wasn't a lot of structure in the training. Aaron, with the Artist Academy, what do you think is the most successful thing of the Artist Academy? Like when you were building this out, digitizing, what were you? It's like, oh man, this is a win right here. What did you see, I guess, got the most traction?
I think I have a couple things to say about that, to be honest. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your show.
Oh, it's my show?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would say one of the biggest things was autonomy from the new onboarding artists coming on board. If they want to finish it in 6 months, that's great. If they don't, if they want to like kind of bulldoze the way through it, they can, provided they're hitting all of their targets and all that. So they could go as fast or as slow as they want to, which I think is really awesome. I think another thing is it takes the weight off of the educator. So no more 8 a.m. in-person live classes. The educator essentially gets to enjoy being behind the chair, having someone to tell all their tips and tricks. And that part has been really nice. It takes the burden off of them. They're still very involved in the education, but as far as teaching the skill, they're not having to teach the skill. They're teaching the real life behind the chair stuff. The one that I think is really the most interesting that we've seen is that because we're able to onboard people with structure, we're putting out really great stylists, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that it's really attracted experienced stylists to our company, weirdly. And I think that's kind of the thing that maybe I don't realize was going to happen, because this is really targeted for the new artist.
So I want to hit on that point, you know, and I think it does a couple interesting things. We've had a lot of really great feedback. I mean, one of them, out of one of a purchaser from the big event, she literally had said, she's like, I'm training people on this, and now I'm having my experienced artists asking if they can have access to it. And then even from the part of it, like, and this is real, guys. Like, I believe that they had 3 people go through the styling portion. And one of the most senior people in the salon had said, they're like, hey, where did everyone learn about this blowout? And they're like, in the Artist Academy. She's like, I want to know that, right? So, like, I want to be clear to everybody, not only is this, I mean, we've intended it, we've built it for, it is very specific and purposely built for that new artist, but also, you know, when you're investing in this, bringing the rest of your team through it and having that consistency, exactly as you're talking about, Aaron. I mean, again, it, like, when we built this, we're like, I don't even think in the conversation or the whiteboard, it was like, what could this do for experienced artists? Now that we're here, we know the value in that consistency.
Yeah.
Well, I think about Jess and how talented she is, and I'm like, holy cow. I mean, just learning more of the editorial side of styling, that right there, I was like, Jess, I feel like I've learned so much from you already. And we've done like 4 videos, you know?
Aaron, talk about, and we're about to dissect and dive into the Artist Academy, actually what it is. So our training used to be 12 months, and we're going to save this for Christopher, because Christopher is going to show us the numbers and how it will benefit your salon. So we were 12 months training. I came on full time in 2018. Did we ever do more than 12 months of training?
We would do, this is kind of funny when we think about it. We would do 12 months, and then we would let them start building while being an associate part-time.
Same.
Yes. Yes.
So inefficient.
I know. And again, Christopher, I don't want to steal your thunder, because like what you have to say is like, it's like a mic drop when you think about it. Like, we don't think about people in numbers by any stretch, but when you think about being a wise, like, steward of the financial side of a business, like, you got to hear what, you know, you're about to say, Christopher, because it is a game changer. And it's like, okay, that puts the pressure on me to become better and more efficient at what I do, so that I can train and make our team quicker and like grab onto skills better. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a good motivator for me, and it should be for most salon owners.
Absolutely.
And we were 12 months, and then I heard of another salon doing 9 months, and I'm like, okay, if you're getting people right out of cosmetology school, they're in a TikTok, Instagram, I mean, everything's just instant, right? So 12 months, it seemed like a lot. And so I remember going to Jordan, who's going to join us in a bit. I was like, Jordan, we take 12 to 9 months. And Jordan's awesome. She's an Enneagram 8. She's like, get it done. She's been so loyal to Silver Salon. And she's like, yeah, let me go back and work. And I was like, oh, I know she's going to make it work. Then I came back later. I was like, hey, can we do this in 6 months? And her eyes got really big, like she was about to strangle me. And I was like, I don't know. She walked away. I was like, she'll make it happen. So that's how the 6 month was born. And we started seeing, when I'd go to these schools and they're interviewing other places, and they have a year and a half. I've been to a salon, they had an assistant for 4 years. And I'm just like, that is not stewarding that relationship very well. And so that's how the 6 months was born. Christopher, we're going to save that for you. Aaron, I'd love to jump in to the Artist Academy. Like, I would love, people are like, okay, I hear about it, I see the training, or I've heard about the training. What does it actually look like to go through the Artist Academy?
Okay, so if you are going through the Artist Academy, you will get this book, which we're super proud of. And this book was a labor of love for sure. And so essentially it kind of outlines like table of contents, commitment to growth. This one is
hang on. I don't want to go past the commitment to growth.
Okay.
I think that's a very, very, you don't have to read it, but I would love for you to walk through what that looks like.
Well, okay. So right before that, there's a supply list. So essentially it gives you kind of like a little snippet of like how to make this successful between the educator and the mentor, or I'm sorry, the mentee. It tells you everything, like your essential supply list, bonus materials, and then the commitment to growth. So this is basically like, it's funny because anytime I onboard a new associate, I am saying, all right, well, here's your new book, here's your mannequins, all the things. I flip to this page and I make them read this out loud in our office, which I'm sitting in, and it's very like awkward. But what I want them to know is like, I want them to see how serious this is, and I want them to see what they're committing to. So it talks about anything from like doing a great job on homework, staying determined, staying focused, starting each day with a positive attitude, all the things. And then this next page, you're not going to really be able to see this more than it says Academy Roadmap. But basically, we've got all of our skills broken down on one page, and then each bolded part right here. So this says week 1 due date, and it's got 5 videos that they're going to be watching and taking a quiz on that week 1. But it's designed to be enough information and have enough time in that week to accomplish it. So as you move through some of the more technical work, like doing a balayage, that's the only thing that's due on that 1 week, or watching the men's cut videos, that's the only thing you'll do on that week. And then the next week, you'll actually do the practical stuff. So it basically goes through the entire program, and it matches up with the app that I think you guys are going to be talking about a little bit later. And then let's see. So we've got culture piece, we've got style. So like,
hey, can I ask a couple of questions? I get this question a lot because we've sold a lot of pre-orders for this. Why, or not why, that's another question. When are they when are they doing these skills? Are they doing it with the educator? That's the way that we've done it in the past. And I know Jordan, she'll speak to that later on, but when, we have Alondra going through it right now, when is she doing those skills?
So our associates, they go through the training program, and their typical week is 3 days with the educator, 1 day for opportunity. So like their own clientele building day. And then the last day, or somewhere built into the work week, they've got a full training shift. And that was something that we actually did at the beginning of this year, that we were like, holy cow, like this is allowing them to go through the program like that, and not losing the foundational technique and the essential skills, because every day for 26 weeks, they have 7 hours to work on their Artist Academy stuff. So they could go in and watch a video, and then they could get all their mannequin work done that day for the week. So it's not even that we're asking them to do it outside of their hours, or at home. They can if they want to, but we're building that into what the business pays them hourly to work that shift. And again, you guys will see how this kind of links back when Christopher talks, but basically if you kind of pay for that up front, you're able to shorten the Artist Academy, which then in turn, it helps you get a return on that investment sooner. Mm-hmm. So that's the piece of the puzzle that a lot of people have not quite figured out. So that's when they do it. And so we have, let's say, for example, this one, if they're working on the style flat wrap, they're going to watch the video, they're going to take the quiz. And while they're watching the video, they've got an entire summary and a step-by-step guide here. When they go to do that on their mannequin, the next page is a sign off. So it's like they've got, there we go, mannequin, the date completed, what their notes were, what did they notate about this service? Maybe they're going to say, I feel super confident in this skill, or I need help with quadrant 3 and 4. Do you have any tips and tricks? They're going to talk about products used, and then the mentor is going to write their notes down, and then they're going to sign off. So they'll have an opportunity for mannequin 1, mannequin 2, and then live model 1 and live model 2. Now, the caveat to this is if you have someone who has mastered the skill after one attempt, there's zero reason that we should continue on and make them do it over and over again for no reason, just to get 4 sign-offs. So there's 4 available sign-offs, but we are just leaving that up to the discretion of the educator or the mentor, whatever they think as far as the skill of the new artist. So they'll work their way all the way through style, color, and then cutting. And then we also, in the very back, we've got additional head sheets. We've got notes pages. But basically, this book is going to carry them through the entirety of the 6 months. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Why a book? We're in a digital world.
So we did briefly think about doing a digital copy, but you cannot write and take notes in a digital copy. And we feel like that's so essential to the success of this program. There's something about so what we do in our company, which I have it up here. I hope you don't mind if I show this, Evan.
I don't know what you're showing. So.
Go into that too, though. Right? Yeah.
Oh.
And also, we used the VARC for this to be able to think of it, because we want to think about everyone's learning style, right? Mm-hmm. In the data point, I mean, I've heard that it's as low as 70 and as high as 91%. But when you're writing things down specifically, that's the thing, y'all. This is intended to get people through this on a fast track while not discounting quality.
Yeah. So as far as the written copy and the actual hard copy of this, I could 100% see once you get the sign off, I know we're all adults here, but there's something about getting a fun sticker.
Yeah.
Right. So if they get to move on from the skill, put a sticker there. So what we do in our company to kind of satisfy that dopamine release, I guess, is we have a puzzle that we've labeled. So this is what the puzzle will look like. So we created an image that says she's completed it, but we got a puzzle off of Amazon and customized it with that image. And then on the back, we basically go in and put the weeks that she's done or completed along with some other goals. So doing a reel, hitting her monthly service, retail goal, reel. And so at the end of it, if you can kind of look at this, you could see she's almost completed her puzzle. And this is posted in the back of our salon in the break room, so everybody can see how far along she is. So if you look at this, you're going to be like, wow, she's almost finished with Artist Academy. So it's something exciting and tangible for someone to really, I guess, see their progress. Mm-hmm. Same thing with a digital copy. You see it filled out. It's something tangible. You can see the progress that you're making. I could see if you like to journal and have fun highlighters and all the things, do that with this page, that page. You could go in and do some fun color coded, everything that you've completed is pink. Everything you did in one attempt is orange or whatever. But that's how we designed it, was to be really customized and for you to be able to do it kind of however fit your company, essentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So too, creating autonomy, and also hey, yes, we're giving you paper because the encouragement is to color outside the lines, right? The learning process is just unique to each person. And again, that's where a technical manual and a handbook, that really, really brings it home from a space of retention as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think too, this also, what you were saying too, is just before you can even get a sign off, you need to have your book. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you a sign off if you don't have your book. So it's accountability. It's having a physical copy to write in. It's a lost art, you guys.
And another great thing is when someone starts the Artist Academy, we already know their graduation date. Now, the question is, what if somebody needs more time, or we already said, we've had the stylist go through it in 4 months. She's like, this is what I want to do. We're like, okay, she did it. Now we've had people go through it and they need a little bit more time. So 6 months should be on average. I mean, that's usually, and when you're hiring and interviewing, we're showing them this. I mean, hey, this is what in 6 months, if you get a driven person that's, wants to be successful, they're like, boom, let's do it. And I know we've had stylists hey, I want to take up every 6 months and learn everything. And then we have some people that's hey, I want to finish a little bit early. Hey, we have a question from Leslie Miller, which I love. So we'll pop it up. Do you have the new hire work as front desk? Also, does the mentor meet and go over a dry run prior to going in live with the mentor for the actual scheduled guest?
So we do recommend that you train your new hire at the front desk. We do a week of training at the front desk. That's just our company. We have had, depending on if we have a spot available on our team for an associate or not, we have brought someone on and they've worked a full 6 weeks at the front desk. The benefit to that is that they get to really start bridging the gap between front desk and stylist, because there's always that like barrier of, like that is like a gap. Is stylists don't realize how much front desk does, until they go through it.
And having an awareness of like, okay, I know that y'all are the same way with this. Processes are intentional, right? So knowing the way that the salon company operates and having that experience to know, okay, cool, how do we retail here? How do we pre-book here, right? How do we ask for referrals here, right? All the nuances of everything that our support team does, Leslie, we would absolutely recommend you having them spend time up there, because the more time that they're able to spend there, the more they observe, the more that they absorb, the more they can serve.
Yes.
And then I think to the question on, do you have a dry run prior to going live with the mentor? So in my mind, that might be in a space of like train the trainer. So Leslie, I love both your questions because there were literally things on my mind as we were prepping for this morning. In the train the trainer, that's something that we'll have for y'all as well. And again, what the intention is here, this is actually meant, I mean, it's going to do a bunch of things, but one of them is that it's saving the educator's time. Not that we don't want them to have a lot of overlap with that new hire, but here's the thing, the humans that we have in our organization that are in those developmental roles, here's the part, so often they're only spending time developing new. And also for them, how does that push their skill set, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something that not only it offers them to have, keep that new hire moving forward, right? But also allows them a different amount of time to be able to work on their skill set. Because that's so important, I think, as an educator. Like we're never, in my opinion, we're never done learning, right? We're always infinite learners if we're in the side of education.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I will say too, and I don't know, that was a wonderful explanation. So, but I'm curious if she's was thinking about like doing like almost like a boot camp before they even, I'm curious if is that what you guys kind of like before they jump in and do a glaze, or is there like a dry run through on how to do a glaze prior to? And I would think my answer to that would be in their onboarding. So they would do the front desk training, and then they would do associate training, where they might go through a shampoo training with one of your team, or a blow dry training, kind of like a basic blow dry training, a basic shampoo training. So does that?
Yeah. We'll wait for a response. This is to another question. How would that look? A dry run, so to speak.
I think that might be like what she was.
Yeah, let's have them clarify it, Leslie, and then I think we just saw Alexis. Can you clarify what you mean by dry run? Because I think that'd be helpful in making sure that we answer the question specifically to you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sit here and talk about something. They're like, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so please clarify that. And we'll watch for the reply there.
Yeah, while we wait on that, a couple of other FAQs. Is this brand specific? So that was something that we know can be a tense thing, is like brands, and so we Christopher and Anagen 11, the Silver Salon, we are Lanza Salon. So what we do is we say, hey, we're using a light hairspray, and we show the Lanza bottle, but it's like, hey, use whatever light hairspray you have in your company. So it's going to go along. We didn't want to be so brand specific that did not communicate to everyone in the salon world. So we have not got the question back. So Aaron, I know a couple of other things we need to do real quick, and I'd love for you to stay on. So if a question does come up, we can pop you back in. What does the Artist Academy, what does it cover? I know it covers cutting, color? Kind of go through that if you don't mind.
It covers culture to like very foundational, like head shape, formulation, all the things. Style, that we have a robust styling portion. It goes through color, and then the color portion is very much geared towards technique and not necessarily placement. So you're learning the foundational skills on technique. If you are implementing this, your stylist has already graduated hair school. So what you learn in hair school is a little different than what you learn in the real world. I think we can all agree on that. And so the only placement technique that we have in there is a face frame, and it's a beautiful, beautiful face frame. It could be the start of a half foil, a full foil. You could move that same technique to the back hairline, and it's stunning. So that was the only technique we added in there. Was we just felt like it was a necessity because it's around the face. If you can perfect the face, everything else will typically fall in line, not always. And then we have a ton of cutting, a ton. It's everything from long layered to a graduated bob to an inverted one length bob to a crop bob to pixie to men's barbering, long like a long men's traveling cut. Like, I mean, it is very, very robust. So it's designed to really, really prepare your new stylist so that they're not on the floor on day one after they've trained in your program. And they're like, I don't do men's cuts. I'm like, yes, you do, because you've watched collectively about 8 hours of videos on how to do them.
Yeah, and the men's cuts are very, very great.
I know.
I feel like I could do a men's cut because I edited them. I'm like, you know what? I can start with a line, do the fade. We'll see. A couple of things. I'll show you the app near the end of this webinar. But the biggest thing is when we started using the same training, we started to see our team move in unison. And I think that's the biggest thing. And Aaron, I would love for you to show the sign right behind you, because I think it fits with this. If we get better, our guests will demand that we get bigger. And I think with this program, it's going to help us get better. All right. So Leslie, let's see. I just saw the end of it and she cracks me up. We book pretty tight and don't have time to bring the new hire up, which can feel like you are carrying a toddler around, trying to stay focused on your guests and the experience. Just looking for a sample of how you get the associate ready to, all caps, rock and roll. That's exactly how she talks.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for clarifying that. I think the main thing, and even to your follow-up question of like senior associate, junior associate, those type of things, at the end of the day with this, they're moving through a program, right? And one of the things that we've been really, really intentional about within this process is we want to equip them. That's why we start with styling. Styling is something that can be helped everywhere within the salon. Because in that area of it, Leslie, if I think about that question, right, we're equipping them in the beginning so that when you need help in that way and you can have some overlap with them, you have an easy way to get someone that's in onboarding helping out anybody on your team, right? Here's the part. Where do we all fall short on time? The end of the appointment, that finishing, that styling work. So it does bring in a really, really natural element to be able to bring them into, that behind the chair work. The other part that we're also doing with this though, is because we're freeing up and focusing, the new hires time. And then we're also freeing up that leads time. So in some of these ways of like the old past, like, you just feel so overwhelmed because there's so many things that you have to fit into it, because it's as Aaron had said earlier, like, we were supposed to go over a foiling technique today. I don't have that booked in my business today. So we're going to have to wait on that. And we know the moment that we do that, we just elongated it by 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Well, in those questions, and thank you for that, the dry run in that sense to it, Leslie, is we're actually completely resetting what that experience is going to be like, not only for the new hire, but for everyone in the salon and educator specifically. So I hope that answers it. As far as do you have a senior associate bring the junior associate up to speed? So again, the way that these skills build, they're building so that they're constantly always in a phase of evolution, right? And as we go through that, we're walking them through. And the beautiful thing that happens, half of 6 months is 3 months, and the part is within your salon company. And this is the thing. We have such huge hearts. Every salon owner, I mean, these jobs, I mean, everyone says they're a bunch of things, but when you look at behind the scenes, there's so many things you have to do that people don't have awareness to, right? When we think of that process of bringing someone up to speed in the experience about what that's like, we want to do that in a quicker amount of time, because here's the piece of it. That new person not only has goals that they want to set, but we also want to make the educational overwhelm not hit the team, right? They can focus on these things, make some mistakes, and then bring the mistake, because that's really where we learn, right? Bring the mistake in their review time. So in that part of it, I think we're really resetting that idea of how a person becomes, I'm going to say, useful in the salon. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I think I 100% agree with that. And I think that that is really interesting, how you say that, because I'm it's not I mean, it's how to get them up to speed, but not in an unhealthy way. And that's our intention across the board. But I mean, for us, how I would answer that on our side, I think we have very clear expectations for I'm going to call them the offboarding associate. So they are offboarding onto the floor, and then the onboarding associate. And so basically we do have the offboarding associate do the training, and we've got a day 1 through day 5 of, hey, on day 1, it's 0 hands in. On day 2, it's 25% hands in. And so we've got a very specific list on what is essentially happening on each day, so that by the time they get to day 6 and they no longer have somebody training them, they're, I wouldn't say fully prepared, but way more prepared than they were on day 1,
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Aaron, thanks for joining us. Stay on, because we might need your expertise. But we're going to hand it over to Mr. Christopher, because he's going to talk about how this can actually save your company money. And so I love being in the car with you when you were figuring this out. So it's your show. Show us how this can save salons money.
Yeah, so the main thing I think that we want to think about there is the training process, right? The amount of time that it's taking us to build and bring someone's competence and confidence up to a point that they're actually able to be working with clients. And the first thing that we're going to talk about this, because when we had the question, we're like, hey, we know this is good. Let's break it down so that financially we understand the impact of it. So I want to set the stage a little bit. This is an apples for apples comparison. It is comparing what we used to do between both of our companies, traditional 12-month plan versus what we're doing now within the 6-month plan. Now, as we compare these two numbers, the part that I want to be really, really clear to say is the artist manual is set up so that what we've assigned each week to within that timeline is we're looking at and calling that an 8-hour window of time. Y'all can split that up however you need to, but we're really thinking about it of okay, what is possible to do within 8 hours? Now, traditionally, in the old school way, the educator was right, side by side. And then if you wanted to multiply and you were onboarding a couple people, now that educator's time is even more limited. And when someone has questions, they're limited, right? So the part that already that we beat is, one, from a possibility of scale, that just got more complicated. And when you added scale in the old way, there was a chance that the collective's ability to move forward was actually slowed down. So that's one of the things that as we were building this ROI calculator, we want to be really clear to. I'm going to get down to the brass tacks with it, because these are the numbers I think are wildly interesting. So again, apples to apples, 2 complete 6 scenarios here. Artist Academy is 8 hours with 2 hours with that lead educator in overlap time. Now, on the other side of it, it was time and time. So 8 hours of the artist, new hire, 8 hours of the educator. Now, when we look at that, the difference of these two is going to save the salon $9,200. Now, here's the piece of this now when we all look at it. One, because we know that, if you should be training your educational staff in some way, shape, or form, right? That's a non-negotiable. So one, we're paying that educator, and it is a much higher rate than what we're going to be training that new hire, but we're also still paying that new hire. When they are overlapped together, though, you have to add those wages together. And then also in 6 months versus 12 months, you need to add on another 6 months of time. So immediately right there, we saw $9,200 in the scenario that we did. And again, we're choosing to pay in this calculator, we're choosing to pay above minimum wage. We're also choosing to pay that lead educator comfortably and confidently to the amount that they'd be able to make behind the chair. The other number though is in the lead educator hours saved. So this is time that they can use somewhere else. 300 in this scenario, again, going off those numbers that I shared, 368 hours saved. So this is something immediately from the go that we knew. We're like, not only are we helping that new hire out, we're also helping the lead out. What else can the lead do, right? Now, the next place that I want to say is, and this is where I'm going to focus to that new hire for a minute. We really got to think about in the salon industry, the amount of things that we have done with, I think we might have done it with, I want to say it was done with good intention. It just wasn't smart from a standpoint of business. And that was, how do you engage? How do you create autonomy? And how do you create encouragement for someone to move through a process and a program at their own rate? As I said earlier, in some of these old ways that we used to do things like, oh, we're supposed to be doing this today, and I don't have any of that book, so we're doing this today, and we're jumping all over the place. Now, what that does, one, it creates inconsistency. And when we have inconsistency within an educational process, the damage could be that we're actually confusing that new hire. So that's one thing that you want to think about, right? We're like, hey, I know all these skills. Why can't they jump around? The whole perspective and the whole idea of a great educational program and process for onboarding is so that you build on that and to be able to get through it consistently and efficiently. The next one that I want to talk about too, though, is, as we think about, these young humans, we've thought about this in every way that we could. We wanted to get it that is something that is easy for everyone to access and something that all of us carry around with us, right, on the phone. So the app is designed to be something that's experienced digitally from wherever they are. This is real facts. We have someone that's going through our interviewing process right now. And I had said to them, I was like, hey, you're going to be someone that we're going to be moving through the Artist Academy, and her a unique situation. She's been licensed for a little bit, has never had that classic and foundational training. We just basically said, we're like, hey, we're going to move you through this. And she asked the question, and I love that. She's like, hey, well, can I do it faster than 6 months? I was like, you know what? I want to celebrate you asking that question, and absolutely. Although we give you a roadmap, if you're looking at that and you want to try and do 1.5 weeks in a week, or you want to try and do 2 weeks where you can within 1 week, absolutely. So that's another thing. Like, already in the old way, we were actually bound up by the lead educator's time. What is their availability? Now, if we're able to have them moving through that roadmap and completing these skills, now all we have to make sure that we have time for is enough time for the lead educator to be okaying and going over the overview of what they had already done. So what we've done within that situation is the new hire can move at whatever rate of speed that they're able to have high retention. But we are not limiting that amount of speed based on what is the lead educator's timing. It's a massive, from a sense of the simple thing is this. Our new hires that are coming in, our new talent that's coming into this industry, they have the expectation to be able to have lifestyles and have lifestyles paid and be able to earn for that lifestyle faster than ever before. So this is the thing that allows a salon company, when you have an Artist Academy, you have something in place, clear roadmaps, low amount of time that the lead educator needs to be involved from a standpoint of getting them to move forward. But also, the nice thing is when they do hit their roadblock of where they might be struggling, we also have extra gas in the tank with that lead educator, because they are jumping into the actual pain point, right? And those pain points are really where we need to have that overlap time. When they've shown us that the skill is proficient, and as they're moving through it, the way that we have them working on mannequin heads and then working on live models, is able to do so that it shows us where those pain points are without having to have the costly time involved to find those pain points. So I think that that's another thing. Like when we think about ROI, I want you not only to think of it from like dollars and hours saved, thank you so much, and to break that down, return on investment. Because we're doing so much more than financially investing into these humans, we're also giving them some of the most valued and scarce time within our salon companies. The next one that I want to go through, though, is, in thinking about, we've talked about the consistency, and I think a lot of those things are seen. The main thing that we've done here is we've taken something that's massive, put it down into something that is bite-sized, right? They're able to see it. Okay, what does this week do? What that also does, I think, in the learner's mind is it lets them know what to expect, which then is going to decrease the amount of overwhelm. Because if we're not clear as someone that's coming into our salon company with what those first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months looks like, if we're not showing them that we have a path and an expectation that they're building a clientele as we're able to go through this, because they can use their clientele as live models if they're so efficient and effective to be able to. So again, within the process of it, we've engineered in as much empowerment and as much autonomy to that young human. Now, from a salon owner perspective, when I think about that, when you have the opportunity to see how one of your new hires and people that you're bringing into your organization that you've worked so hard to create the culture for and build the systems to be able to have a team of people, we definitely want to be mindful that of who we're hiring and what a better way to have this structured system that allows them to show you what do they have, what are they capable of, right? And then within that as well, that 30, 60, and 90-day time frame, are they someone that's going to be a great fit for you? This is going to show you so much more than ever before because it is structured. And the other part of it is it's not something that has to be like a salon brand education system. This is something, it's a solution that we bring in to optimize your time. We're really, really curious to see what you can do and show us how quickly and how effectively, and then the most point though is efficiently in retention, right? What are you able to retain from this? Because that's truly going to matter when they start building their behind the chair businesses. So it's such a dynamic thing in the amount of things that this will free up in a modern, a salon company that doesn't have their own consistent training program, because that's the other piece of it. Today, we need to be everywhere we can be to be able to save everybody's time. And that's the level of intentionality that we put into this when we were planning it. Because like I said, it's all about ROI, but more than just about money. It's about time, right? It's about investment. It's about equity within that relationship.
Yeah, I say all the time, you can always make more money. You can't make more time. So not only is this a powerful tool to train new and upcoming stylists, but it's also a powerful tool to help make your salon profitable and not burn out your educators. And I think that's a segue into one of our educators. She's been here for 12 years. Is it 12 years? Please welcome Miss Jordan Fox to the stage. Joe!
Hi.
How are you? Is it 12
I'm
years?
good. It's over 12 years now.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
fireworks. You got fireworks.
Yeah.
So Joe was, we call her Joe, it's Jordan. And she's been with us since really the beginning. And you've been a part of all the education. We're going to be going over an hour here. I'm a stickler on time. If you got somewhere to jet, you can. This will be available to you afterwards as well. So it'll be emailed to you. But we just want to make sure that we cover all the bases. And Joe, you came to us, it was pre-COVID. I know that.
Yes.
And you just had a heart for teaching. You're like, I love to teach. I love to educate. And we're like, hey, why don't you just get further into educating, let the schools do that when they get here, then you can refine their skills and their mindset and culture. But I would love to hear, we got another guest, Poppy.
Yeah.
And so I would love to know, Aaron talked about what life was like before the Artist Academy, before we streamlined it. I would love to know some thoughts of what life was like for an educator before the Artist Academy.
Oh, okay. So, if you were not organized, it really threw you for a loop. It was, it, there was definitely some times where, yeah, I know, sad rain. There were some times where I would come home and be like, why am I doing this? And because I love to educate, I'm like, well, why am I asking myself this? And a lot of times it was because you're just stretched thin because you were, I think I was behind the chair 4 days at that time. Um, Pretty consistently, I was booked extremely tight, kind of like what Leslie was saying. And I felt like there just was not time to do it. So that's when we were starting out with 12 months. And your associates, if they're with you past 8 months, they really love you because they are tired of you by that point. They are so tired of you. Um, so that's when we went from 12 to 9. And then my eyes about popped out of my head when Evan was like, hey, can you take it down to 6? But we really found out that thanks. We really found out that that 6 month is that sweet spot. They're excited about learning. They want to do all the things, all of that kind of stuff. And then once they get to that sweet spot, they're like, they're ready to run. Um, and that was kind of a hard pill for somebody to swallow because you're like, well, I don't know if you're ready yet. But by doing what we've done with the Artist Academy, like there's no doubt in my mind that they're ready. And those little things that they do need that additional help on, when they come to me and say, hey, like I'm just gonna say Ruthie, for example, because she's the my latest associate that I've had. If she were to say, hey Joe, like I need help with XYZ, I have the brain capacity to do that. Because that was,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Because you're not burned out.
I'm not burned out.
Yes.
I'm like, because there were times, I mean, like, totally speaking transparently right now, there were times where I'm like, if you come and ask me another question, I'm gonna run out into the middle of the road. Like, please stop asking me questions. And educators shouldn't be like that. That's what we're here for. We're here to have questions asked to us. Um, but there were times where I'm like, with Ruthie, I'm like, hey, yeah, like let's stay for an hour after our shift today and let's go over this. Or yeah, I'll be here on your associate day, come and grab me. So therefore I'm putting it into her court to like seek me out. And that's been a huge game changer. It's personally driven, so you can go the full 6 months, or if you know you got a lot going on and you want to hustle and get it done, you can get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. It's been awesome.
Yeah. You show up different when people aren't burned out, because you're basically beforehand, you were teaching what is in this book while you're with the guest.
And that's just not a great guest experience, honestly.
It's not a great guest experience. It's not a great associate assistant. Yeah,
No.
for anyone.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of videos I want to show, and then I would love for you to stay on, because I want to talk to you. The first one is Alondra. She's in our associate program right now. The second video is Liv, who was your associate.
Yes.
And Liv, she's been on the floor and she just got promoted to level 2. So that's been a huge win for her.
Did you see the numbers? Woo!
Yeah. We had 3 promotions. Oh, fireworks! Look at Joe.
Let's go.
We had our team meeting this past Friday. We celebrated our biggest month ever in the history of Silver Salon. We had 3 promotions, so it was really fun. So anyway, let's. Here's Alondra, and then the second video is going to be Liv.
Hi, my name is Alondra. I am a new stylist here at Silver Salon, and I chose to join Silver Salon because of the Artist Academy. The Artist Academy is what I felt the best way to develop myself as a stylist. I didn't feel very comfortable coming out of school with the knowledge I had, so I wanted to make sure I went somewhere that really invested in the education and focused on making sure I got all my fundamentals down before I started playing in people's hair. Okay, so I work with my educator 3 days a week, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those days I am fully booked with Brenna. We're working out on the floor, working with guests, still learning, but very much focused on assisting Brenna. And Fridays are my Artist Academy days. So those are days that I take to watch all of my education videos, review any information that I must learn. So those are days where I watch videos and I practice those techniques on my doll head. And then my educator will come and check them off to make sure they're done correctly. And then Saturdays are my opportunity shifts. So those are shifts that I can book for myself and get clients just in my chair for myself. Okay, so I think the best part of the Artist Academy is just having all the information there disposable to you. I remember my first guest that I had here on my opportunity shift wanted a pixie cut, and I had no idea how to do it. Thankfully though, I had all of my videos, so I went through and looked at all the pixie videos, and when I came in the next day, I felt so much more prepared, and it saved my life. So that's probably my favorite thing. So I think the Artist Academy is super beneficial because I feel like a lot of people coming out of cosmetology school don't feel very comfortable. We might just be a little bit scared to say it, but a lot of us didn't feel very comfortable. So I think the Artist Academy is a great way to really get your stylist to feel comfortable and feel confident and just grow as stylists. I feel like anybody can benefit from the Artist Academy, whether you're a baby stylist or a senior stylist. You can always learn something new.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm one of the stylists here, and one of the big reasons why I chose Silver Salon was actually because they had a continued education. Coming out of school, I did not feel like I had enough knowledge. I knew how to be sanitary and all the things, but I didn't feel like I really knew what I was doing when it came to color formulation and like really cool blowouts and cuts and stuff. And so when I was looking for a salon, I really was wanting to see that there was a continued education. And so the Artist Academy was something that really drew my eye to Silver Salon, as well as so many other things. But that was a really big point of why I wanted to work here, was because it was that 6 months of being able to further my knowledge and everything. My favorite part of the Artist Academy was probably just being able to watch the videos that just had so much detail to them and then be able to execute it and then show it to an educator and have that live feedback of what I can tweak and do better next time. And then sometimes I would need to do it again and do it a little bit differently. But I just loved being able to have that education right at my fingertips. And sometimes I'd even watch it at home before I'd come into work, so it was really fresh on my mind. I really think that the Artist Academy should be in your salon because it, I know for me, has really furthered my career by so much, and being able to gain all of that knowledge that I didn't get in school, and just having all these videos that go into more detail instead of just your basic 90-degree haircut and all of that you learn in school. But I just really feel like it has made me the stylist that I am today and really helped further my career.
Joe, what do you think when you see Liv's video?
Oh, it kind of makes me teary-eyed. And you know, I'm not a crier. Yeah, it makes me really proud of her, like just being able to go through that. And because I know some things were tough for her, and she just, put her head down and kept her blinders on, and just no matter what was going on around her, what was going on in her life or whatever, she just like bulldozed right through it and got done.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, I'm like, what a legacy. What a legacy, you showing up because of the Artist Academy, you showing up as a healthy version of yourself. You're leaving a legacy of people. It's going to be 20, 30 years from now, be like, man, if it wasn't for Jordan, I wouldn't be where I am today. And we all have those stories where we look back and, could we go back? Do I wish we could go back and, when we were doing education and burning educators out and go back and redo it? Yes. But I don't think we would have came up with this. So Jordan, if a salon owner is thinking about purchasing this, what would you say to them?
Do it. Get your credit card out right now because you need it like so bad. Your educators will love you. You will thank yourself, and probably in the next year, you'll thank yourself because you won't have educators that are burned out coming to you being like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So it has been phenomenal for us.
Yeah. Well, Joe, thanks for all that you do and being a part of the Artist Academy and taking time out of your day to just tell us your story. And
Yeah.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
All right, see ya. I love Joe. Hey, I want to show everyone the app. So I need to switch my camera up just a bit. So tell them why we built this into an app, and then I'll get everything set up.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing again that we wanted to take into consideration was, what are you going to do as the salon? Like, just every time you have someone come in, you're going to, give them a MacBook Air or something like that. All of these things require credible amounts of financial resources, and we're already making a huge financial commitment when we invest into a new hire, bringing someone into our salon company. Main reason that we went to the app and did this the way that we did, though, is so that it's streamlined, it's all in one place. It's something that they can go to and have as a resource wherever they are. Because again, like the one thing that there's so many things that we've hacked today, but the one of them that we really find out is we will never get more time, and we will never get time back. Once we've made an investment, and if it doesn't play out from a timing standpoint, that's just a learning exercise, right? But the main thing is, to our new hires, they have a level of expectation, and it's actually calling us to be better professionals. So on this app piece of it, it's done so that it is very streamlined. It's something that's beautiful. The combination of what we put into it, from video of what is going to show them, the actual technique that we're working on, and the technical behind that, all the way down to step-by-steps that are within the app, and then also mirror over to the artist manual. So it really is this beautiful, again, the app is available everywhere and wherever they are. The artist manual and the technical manual is something that we would encourage to be with them. So we've done that so that their learning never has to stop, which increases their rate of completion. Yeah, let's take
All right. So the reason we're doing it this way is because you cannot screen share on the app, which is a security feature. So this is what the app looks like. So this is not for Google yet, Android, but you need to have an iPhone anyway, which they are releasing the new iPhone right after this webinar. So you can purchase that. Go to the iOS store, App Store. You'll just search for the Refine Network, and this is what the homepage would look like if you purchased the Artist Academy. Now, if you have an account with the Refine Network, all you'll have is the webinars. You won't have access to the Artist Academy till you purchase a license. Cool thing is the webinars, you can go and see all the webinars we've had this year, and you'll see this one on there as well. So now we're going to go to the Artist Academy, and there are 5 sections. So the first one is the introduction to the Artist Academy. And you see there's a video, welcome to the Artist Academy. There's culture on here. And so it's Aaron teaching about culture. If it's to be, it's up to me. You are the captain of your own boat. And the cool thing is, in this app, is there's quizzes for all of these sections. So let's go into the hair foundation. We talked about the head shape, hair structure. We talk about color formulation, and then styling, coloring. Let's go into cutting. So let's see. Let's do full fringe. So this goes along with the book, remember? So the video, I'll play it just for a second so y'all can see the production that we have.
So next up, we've got our full fringe.
So Aaron walks through the full fringe. That's 11 minutes. So most of the videos are pretty, sometimes they're around 4 or 5, some are 11. The barber cuts are close to an hour, but we're in the TikTok world. So we wanted to keep it short but effective as well. So step-by-step guide, again, is in here, and it goes right along with the book. Once I do the full fringe, I'm going to do the full fringe quiz. And now they got to score 80% or better on the quiz to move on. Now, one thing that this does not do is it will not give you the results. So what we recommend is start a iPhoto library or some type of shared folder. Once they get their results, screenshot it and drop it in there so you can see what their test results are. So this is the app. And this is one of the reasons why we created this app. Is I've bought online courses. I've bought I bought online courses. I bought things on the web, and you go to on your browser, and I don't know my username and password, right? Like, why would I know my username and password for X, Y, and Z? The app, once you sign in, you're in. And it's right there on the home screen. It's an official app. And here's the thing is we get push notifications as well. So when we add something to the app, you'll get a push notification saying that, hey, now there is X in the Artist Academy. So, we're really proud of the app. It's easy. You know, at Refine Network, we make salon growth simple. So that was one of the things. If we had to have an app, could we bypass the app, maybe save a little bit of money? Yes, but we want it to win. And when people
it was worth the investment.
I'm like, I don't know.
And yes, thanks, Aaron, for jumping in. But Leslie, thank you again for all your questions. The app is 100% up and running. And then to your question on how the mentor, the educators granted access, we have a number of different options for you choosing. Not only how many new hires do you want to have, licenses for, and then also how many lead or mentors do you want to have licenses for. So absolutely, all of that is up and running, ready to go.
Yep. And so we have, if you go to theREFINEnetwork.com, like within the next few hours, it's going to take you to the Artist Academy landing page. If you're watching this later, you can click the Artist Academy up at the top. It should give you all the information. But here's the thing that sets us apart. We do this day in and day out. And the people who built the program are the people you're going, when you send in an email to hello@therefinenetwork.com, we're the ones answering it. So we're the ones who built it, who made it possible. And so when you call support, you're not going to be sent overseas or to a third party. Great question we just got in. When will the workbook be available? I'm crossing my fingers. This company we're working with is under promising, over delivering. We're wanting to have it done by September 21st, which is our leaders retreat here in South Carolina. I think it might be ready this week. So the cool thing is when you purchase the Artist Academy, you will get the book shipped to you. And then if you need additional licenses, it's $350 for a single license. You do get a discount if you buy more. I would like to have a couple on hand, a couple of workbooks. So if somebody starts tomorrow, I have a workbook and I have a license for them. You do get a discount if you order in bulk and 2 or 3 or more. So Leslie, yes, download the Refine Network on the iOS store. When you purchase, you'll get the workbook when we get them ready to go, which in the next 2 weeks, and those workbooks will be sent straight to your salon. So thanks for all the questions. I think we went over a lot today. Here's the thing, like I said, we built it. DM us on Instagram, DM us on any platform, email us at hello@therefinenetwork.com. We'll get you set up. We're working with a few salons to, they're like, hey, can we schedule a call to get my mentors, my educators up to speed on how to make this possible? Yes, because we're not in the business of just selling a product, creating a bunch of hype and being like, whoo, that was a win. Our vision is to help make your salon growth simple. And the way that we do that is we got to do the things that nobody's willing to do, right? Exactly. And taking time to serve you guys. So Christopher.
Hey man, the thing I want to say real quick, Evan, is being able to build this and get to do it alongside, between our companies, it's been such a unique experience. And I also want to say, man, we did such a great job. This is the first time that we've talked about this product and you and I haven't got teary-eyed and emotional.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, we both put some hours into this, but in this moment of it, I just want to celebrate you in the commitment and the dedication that you had to the level of production that this is. It's something, I mean, I had no idea that it was going to turn out as good as it is. And y'all, I can't wait for you to experience it. And the part that I'm excited for is I can't wait for you to experience what it's going to unlock in your salon. Because that time is going to be different every which way that we spend it. And that's going to be unique to you. So I'm excited to hear that. And I would love, after you've brought, those first few hires through it, I would love to hear your experience and how your educators' experience is. It's something that we've been really, really intentional about because we're here, like Evan said, make it simple and also create legacy within this industry. So yeah.
Perfect. Hey, we love you guys. You purchased the Artist Academy. We're on this journey with you. We're here cheering you on and here to support you all the way. Love you guys.
Thank you.